Okay. Let's see here. All right. Hello. I am just doing some prep work for upcoming 10th season of our community orchestra, Coppell Community Orchestra, which is in Coppell, Texas. And I play viola in the orchestra. I started playing viola this January, and they didn't have a violist at the time, and I had just bought a viola because I wanted to learn how to play viola. And I said, I just got a viola, I'm taking lessons, would you give me a shot at trying to, play the viola in the orchestra? And it worked out okay, so that's kind of how I got that gig. Anyway, so what we're doing, we're having our 10th season. So it's kind of a landmark time. So we are having a fairly busy schedule this year, and have an interesting lineup for our first concert, which is going to be October 11th. And so what I've done is the big part. We just got the music this week, and our first practice is next week. So we've got quite a list of things, and I've printed off the music. So one of the things that I do to start with is, one, print the music. Two, kind of just go over the music. We have Dance Macabre. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I've heard it Dance Macabre. I've heard it Dance Macabre. So that'll be very interesting. I've not played it in orchestra on violin, so this will be interesting playing it for the first time on viola. And so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to my challenge on this is I've been really trying to work on my right wrist flexibility, and especially when I get nervous or fatigued, I start, I think, locking that wrist up, and it affects your bow arm, which is 80% of everything. So I've really been trying to work on that, and I think actually the whole lineup is going to challenge me on that. So that's a good thing, but it could be a bad thing, but ultimately good. Then our second piece is Roman Carnival Overture by Berlioz. And this is going to be a challenge for the orchestra overall, primarily the strings. We're a community orchestra, and so it kind of depends on who we have that are coming to play this season. So we're hoping that with kind of an interesting repertoire and everything, that we'll be getting some additional strings. It's very competitive here for string players in North Texas. We've got a Flower Mound Orchestra, there's a Dallas Orchestra, and then of all of those they'll have junior and more advanced components of that, and it's just really very competitive to find strings on a volunteer basis, so and everybody competes with each other, it seems like. But anyway, Roman Carnival Overture, which is going to be very interesting, and again, what I said on this right hand, so it'll be good. It'll help me get all that focus on that issue that I've been working on. And this thing is this is going to be for the strings, syncopation. There's multiple time signature changes throughout. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And tempo-wise, how he takes it, I think, probably less so on this piece than the Danse Macabre. Let's see. And this score is edited by our conductor, Mark Scott. So this will be interesting to see how this comes out. Then we have Surprise Symphony, the second movement by Haydn. Should be fun. Another piece called Genesis by Gallant. Not familiar with that, but looks like another very interesting piece. And then a couple years ago, I think, there was a composer who wrote a piece for the orchestra specifically that was it was written for the Coppell Community Orchestra in 2023-2024 time frame by Kevin Schluter, or Schluter, S-L-U-D-E-R. It's called Coppell in the Making, and this looks very interesting. And I hadn't looked at this piece yet, and of course now I'm looking at quite a few areas with a lot of pizzicato. The thing with pizzicato for me is I have, from my chemotherapy, I have a peripheral neuropathy, so sometimes I have a hard time feeling obviously on the tips of my fingers. So one of the things I can sometimes struggle with is the pizzicato. Just weird little things that, the chemo is, between the chemo and the autoimmune, those are gifts that just keep on giving. So let's see. And then finally, the Greeting Prelude by Stravinsky. And again, I've not played that. That should be interesting. Then we've got a couple of more pieces that I think are more, I think we have a flute solo by one of our previous conductors. But it'll be, I think, piano flute solo maybe. And then we have something, I think, primarily for the wind, either a wind ensemble or combined wind brass ensemble. So that's kind of the setup. And I suspect, similar to last season, that I'm going to be the only violist, and that what they did last year was they got they kind of one of these other orchestras in the area. There's another violist over there that came over and played with me, and that was great. So so we'll see. We'll see what, you never know what comes out of the woodwork. So so that's kind of the deal there. And so I think that I'll get to it. I'm going to just be working on putting this music in here. And I already realized that I'm probably going to have to get my paper punch again. So I'm going to be right back. Let's see. I guess I do not have a be right back. So I'm just going to indicate here in chat okay, so I'll do that. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, I'm making a mess. Oh, goodness. Yep. Oh. I think. Oh, I see what happened. Oh, my. Wow. Oh, wow. Big mess. Oh, man. There's probably a trail of these throughout the whole house when I walked up the stairs. Oh, how funny. Okay, I think I got most of them at least out of the punch. But, oh, they're all over the floor. Let's see. Yep, that's not gonna work. This is as live as it gets. Oh my word. just right there. Okay. 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 It's the Roman Carnival is the one that's voluminous. This is really crazy. Going to be crazy page turns. So, wow, this is going to be interesting because it's just constant movement. I mean, there's not really an opportunity to page turn. Wow. The way this is written, there's just really, wow. Wow. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, especially if I'm on my own. Okay. I may be memorizing pieces. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. at least on the, like last season, Jurassic Park and Pirates, they were both written or orchestrated in a manner where you had time to turn the pages. And here's another one. Let's see. Oh, there's time there. I like that. Okay. So then, after I at least have the front backs done, then I start with figuring out, well, taping together pieces, the front backs, so when I turn the page, I'm not having to deal with them separated. I can just flip it. So so that's the next part. Yeah, the Roman Carnival, these page turns are going to be brutal. Yep. So, what I'm doing is putting together my notebook for orchestra this season, playing viola and getting all that set so that I can start working through the music. The carnival piece is going to be really crazy on the page turns. It's, let's see, this, how many pages? There's 6. Let's see, 8 pages. And there is no, the majority of these do not have a rest or a pause or anything for a page, you know, to be able to do a page turn. So, going to be really interesting for me. I'm sure a professional has this down, or they always have a stand partner or something, but so this will be interesting. Let's make sure. Because the other thing, and here's the other gift of peripheral neuropathy that you kind of take for granted, is turning a page, getting your fingers on the page to be able to grasp and turn the page. Yeah, let's see, I'm just looking at this. So, for example, you can see it. How do I do this? And this is going to be backwards. Boy, I've never done this before. Well, that's not going to work. Well, let's put it this way. There's triplets going on, or eighth notes. I think the beat's going to be in 2. I think. Anyway, so kind of triplets going on at tempo. Let's see. Dotted quarter is 132. So this is going to be interesting. Okay. I think all the rest of the pieces should be fairly easy to deal with. Most of them are just 2 pieces or 2 pages, except Coppell in the making, but that doesn't look to be like a problem with the page turns. It's written in a manner that I'm not going to have to deal with that as urgently. So I'm probably going to have to tape both top and bottom of these pages to make it easier. Okay. So, okay. So I think I will do that. I'll go ahead and do that. And then what I do is I figure out, I maybe put a tab at the corner, or kind of tag it, crease it, tag it to where I can grab that. That's a little easier for me. So I can grab that and just flip it. And that's pretty easy. And then in between pieces, I tend to put another type of marker. And nope, here we go. Like these kind of markers on the top, so I can distinguish between each piece. And once I know what the concert order is, then that'll be good. I won't have to write anything else on these. So just kind of I'll just put this at the top so I can indicate where they are. And I put them on the side that helps me open it up. So, like this. Okay. My coffee's getting cold. Okay. So this is going to be a fun concert. I look for we've had a break during the summer, and sadly for me, last concert, dress rehearsal, the following day, I got very ill with a colitis due to my autoimmune, and I could not I was unwell at the time of the concert, and in all the years that I have played in orchestra, I mean from when I was a kid on up, that is the first concert I've ever missed that I was involved in, and that was hard for me, but also just recovering from it. I'm getting older, so I can, there's just all of that component too, but that illness really kind of affected my stamina quite a bit, and I've really been trying to regain it, so I fatigue really quickly when I'm practicing. So this will be interesting in how to balance the work needed to get the music done, but not stress my body out to where I'm flaring. And boy, if anybody has that one figured out, let me know, because I'm almost 70 and I still haven't got it figured out. So let's see. But, the weird thing about doing a live stream, one, I'm doing it to try to get over, just being kind of in front of people, thinking maybe it would help with the nerves that you get performing and that type of thing. But also, maybe as something that would encourage somebody who maybe played an instrument earlier in their life and they, life got in the way, kids, family, job, all that stuff, and then they find themselves retired or they're recovering from an illness and they're trying to figure out, what can they do, or they want to play music again. And so I had like almost a 45-year hiatus from when I had played in high school up and through college, and because of school and all of that, I couldn't, being able to find a piano to play or a keyboard or something where it won't disturb your neighbors, you can do, but a violin, it was, a little different thing. So I decided to start, well, I was encouraged by a work colleague who was a wonderful cellist, and he would bring his cello in at holidays, and especially, Christmas time, and would play for everyone in the lab. And when I was recovering, well, yeah, I was still on some chemo, but the major part I was done with. I was still getting the chemo for the next year, but he said, you really need to be doing this with me. And so I thought, he's right. My one passion was always music, but I didn't go into music as a career because I was afraid that if I had to depend on it as a career to put food on the table or, all of that I'd come to hate it or despise it. And it was the one thing I really, really had a passion for, and I decided not to do that. And I think it was really the best decision I ever made. And so that's kind of why I do this, to kind of help other people who may be thinking about it, coming back, and they just give up. They say, there's just no way I can do it and all that. And well, I mean, you can. And the other crazy thing, I mean, who at 69 decides to learn another string instrument, and not only that, but jump into it and play in an orchestra with it? So, I mean, I'm crazy. So, but I love music. I love especially the environment of a community orchestra where you have usually similar-minded people. They love music. They love sharing music because of how it makes people feel. It's a good thing. And, Pope Leo just came out with a message saying that singing and playing music is a prayer to God and is a good thing. And it is a good thing. It warms people's hearts. It's a universal language. You can communicate with it to people who don't speak your language. It's a wonderful thing, and that's kind of one of the things about a community orchestra. Is these are all amateurs. They're not getting paid for this. They're doing it because of their love of music, their feelings about the other people they play with. Because usually, you develop friendships with these folks you play with, and they become like another type of family, And sometimes that can be bad, but you work through it. But basically, everyone's there for the same reason, and that's just what makes it so beautiful. And so that's why I do it, and that's why I stream, is to, encourage people who may be in similar situations. Maybe not. Maybe they're younger and they just haven't ever even thought about still playing, and maybe playing in a community orchestra. So that's kind of why I do what I do. So I think I will put this tape on. Putting tape on the bottom joining pages now. So when I initially joined the orchestra, and it was this orchestra actually. So I think I didn't finish my story with the cellist who encouraged me to play with him. It took me 6 months to get the courage up to do so, and the timing of it was I'm kind of blanking on the time frame, but it was around Christmas time, because when I got the nerve up again, and so I played violin for Christmas Mass, the vigil, and there was one of the board members of the orchestra, because they were just forming, I think this was in 2017, they were just forming the orchestra, and she was also a breast cancer survivor, and said to me, you know, you ought to come play in our orchestra. And she gave me the information, and I went to try out, and the cellist that I worked with actually joined the orchestra too and played cello. I think he was trying to help keep me dedicated to the idea. And I still had chemo, you know, the chemo fog, and the peripheral neuropathy was much worse than it is now. But I just, in my mind, I felt like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten all of this stuff, and processing everything was just slower in my brain because of the chemo and everything. But it actually turned out to be great exercise to help reawaken everything, kind of. And the conductor she was really patient, and she had started me out in the second violin right in front of her, and I was pretty nervous. Anyway, then she moved me over to second chair, and then she moved me to concertmaster, and I was concertmaster for several concerts. I don't remember how many now, but then COVID hit our orchestra, and you know what happened with COVID, and if you're a musician, you know what happened with COVID. And because I was immunosuppressed, and I still am, I couldn't be around people, and as many couldn't either, but I had to be particularly watchful. But that's kind of what got me back into recording on my digital workstation, and that I used to do it when I was younger, and then I got back, so that helped me get back into it and learning how to record a live instrument. I had only ever recorded a keyboard into a DAW. I've never recorded a live instrument, so that helped me kind of learn how to do all that, and that's kind of how I got here. So, but I've always, I was probably in junior high school, I think, when I started writing music, it could have been latter part of junior high and then high school, but high school primarily. Started writing music, and I was inspired a lot by Carole King and her Tapestry, all of her albums. Carole King was just is my all-time favorite, if you want to call it pop composer or whatever. She's just really fantastic. And just in the 70s, you know, folk music was really big. And so some of the stuff I did, I played guitar, and my best friend at the time, she and I would, she had a voice, she kind of looked like Cher, and her voice was like Cher. And so we sang little pieces that we wrote together and performed them for talent shows and stuff back then. But I'd always kind of had that musical inspiration there. And then when I got older and was in school in training, I got a keyboard, a Korg I think it was a Korg M1 keyboard. Man, that thing was fantastic. And you know, computers were just starting in the 80s, and I got one of the first desktop PCs, IBM PCs you could get, and got, I think it was Sequencer or Sequencer Plus or something back then. Maybe Sequencer was one of the first ones. I think there was Cakewalk and all those, but I just started playing, just improvising on the keyboard and recording it, and that's kind of how I got started with that. But I was inspired by more easy listening, new age kind of music, improvisational type style, but very easy, along kind of like George Winston and what was it? David Winters? No, David. Oh man, I can't remember the name. But they did a lot of improvisation. So like they might take a Christmas carol and do an improvisation of it. And so I just kind of started trying to do that kind of stuff, and my friends always liked it, so hey, I kept it up. So anyway, okay, it is done. So I've got all the tabs for the different pieces. I have the front backs taped so I can do the page turns and all that. And so now it's on to the tough stuff. Looking through the music, at least I've gotten to the point now where I have to less often go in and do a fingering for every single note, because I was trying to transpose in my head from violin to viola kind of on the fly. And so I kind of had to do that. I think I'm a little better now at being able to read it kind of on the fly, but certainly I probably am not quite as good sight reading on it as with violin yet, but I'm getting there. So I think for today, for right now, this is probably enough. I'm gonna need to break for lunch, and I'll probably come back and I'll probably just record offline my practice, working on my bow stroke and left hand frame, keeping this loose and just kind of loosening everything up. But anyway, I just thought I'd go through this and kind of explain a little bit about why I do what I do. And for whoever ends up watching this, which is probably not too many people, but if it's one person that it might, make a difference for, then mission accomplished. I'll probably also be sharing more of my composition work, and I'll probably do that live. Probably less often live on my practice sessions, but more on my composition. Not sure yet. I'll probably mix some in there, just so I can just get used to that playing in front of people that may or may not show up. So anyway, that's it for now, and if anybody watches this, thank you, and subscribe. It'll help me out. I'm not monetizing the channel at all. I just try to get the word out about music in general, and so help me out if you can on that aspect. Appreciate it. Take care.